What's going on, guys? So today we're going to continue on with our Music Talk app. It's an app like Facebook, but people just talk about music. Pretty much the best idea ever. In previous videos, which you don't need for this one by the way, we created a Node and Express backend. We set up an API or a route on our server. We started a React project for the front end and made sure it could communicate with the back end. We set up a database and then we connected to that database. In this video, we will bring in React Router and set up some navigation for our front end. We'll use the more recent React Router version 6. I've heard some mixed reviews on version 6. Some people like it and some people prefer the older versions. The cool part is you can ease into it. Version 6 gets pretty complicated, honestly. It can be useful for specific use cases, but you can set it up for basic routing, links, and redirects pretty easily, which we'll cover in this video. So let's get into it. So this is the terminal for our React app, and here we'll bring in React Router with npm install React Router DOM. React Router has a React Native version and a browser version. The React Router DOM is the browser version. We'll clear that. And then in our index.js, we will import some things here. And that'll be the create browser router, create routes from elements, the route, and finally the route provider. All of that will be from React Router DOM. And we will make a const of router. We'll have that equal to create browser router. Inside here, you can pass in an array of objects. You can give it a path property with the path that you want to go to, and then the element property, and that would be the component that you want to render at that path. And so you can do it this way with different objects, or you can do JSX components, which I will switch to here in a second, but I want to show you how you could also do nested routes with the object orientation. So you would just add a property of children, which is an array. Oh, need a comma here. And then in this array, you would just do some more routes, same as the parent route there. Path to signup, element, signup, etc. But we will switch to the JSX version. So instead of sending in this array into create browser router, we can send in another function, and that's the create routes from elements function that we imported also. Bring this down a little bit so it's a little easier to read. And now inside of this, we can pass in our routes. And you can close routes like that, or you can do routes like this. So for now, I'll do it like that. Close that up a little bit there. And then you can just pass in the path attribute and the element attribute. And then you would pass in your component. And then down here, instead of just rendering our app component, we can do this router provider that we imported, which will have this router attribute, and we will pass in our router, which is our const here. So in order to navigate to different pages, we are going to need different pages. So I will create a folder called Pages. And inside that folder, we'll make a signup.js so our user can sign up. And then I will take that sign up form that we created in the last video and I will bring that into this sign up component for our sign up page. I'm also going to create a page of sign in, and I will paste that form in here as well. To rename these. We'll configure the sign in route on a future video. For now, I will change this to sign in. Then in our sign up, we'll have to change that here too. Do Command D to get both of them. Do sign up. And now in our index.js, I'm going to make this a parent route by switching to this syntax, and then inside of that parent route we can do the nested routes like so. Sorry, this is route singular, by the way. So the path is sign up, and then the element is the sign up, which should, yes, import that in automatically. And then this route we'll do path of sign in, and the element is sign in. Finish out those components there. There we go. And I did not auto import the sign in, so let me bring that in. Beautiful. Now we have different pages. In order to get to those different pages, we're going to need some navigation. So I'll go back to my source here, create another folder called Components. And in there I will create a file called navigation.js. You'll never guess what it's for. And here we'll create our let's create our nav bar here real quick. Do a nav tag, and then I also have Tailwind CSS going in this project, which we started using in the last video and installed into the project on the last video. Say the width is full, give it a height of 16, a little bit of padding on top and bottom, text white, and then only the border bottom, padding on the sides of 28, give it a fair amount of margin bottom to keep everything away from the nav bar. And we will give that border some color. So to create a link from React Router DOM, we can import link from React Router DOM. And that will translate to an href, to an anchor tag. And the way you use that is this link component, and it has this to attribute, and then you give it the path that you want it to lead to. So I'm just going to create my own little logo here real quick. So inside this link, we're going to do a span. Do Option Shift down to duplicate that. It's for our music talk app. So we'll do music and talk. So that'll be the logo on the left side. And then we'll just put a couple items on the right side. So we'll use Flexbox for those. We'll center those vertically. Give it a height of 16, the same as the nav bar. And we'll do another link here. So this one will lead to the sign up page. And this one will give some padding left so that they're not right on top of each other. Spread those apart a bit. We'll do a link to the sign in page. And we'll say sign in. Save that. And then real quick, I want to add this font into Tailwind here so we can use this specific font. So we'll do font family, property for sans. I want to use this Avenir font, and we'll give it some backup fonts as well. Close that. Go back to our index.js here. Now we want to show this navigation on every page, but navigate to these different components and then show that component also. And so we can make a layout component, and then I'll show you how we can show specific things inside that layout component that are tied to our router, but anything we don't want tied to our router we can have outside of that. So I'll make a folder called layouts. Inside that we'll make a file called rootlayout.js. And here we'll import our navigation component. Like that auto imported, awesome. And then from React Router DOM we can import this outlet component. So we'll render our navigation and then this outlet component. And so our navigation will be up here, which will be always showing, and then the outlet is what comes from React Router DOM, and that's how we're telling it where to show the components for the specific paths. So navigation will always show, and then the components that we're rendering will be underneath the navigation. And so this is the parent route, and here we can do the root layout that we just created, and then we can actually make the app.js our home page, so we can give that the same path. I have to close this one as well. So we have this parent route at the home page, and so that will always show, and then inside of that, this is where the outlet components are, so we can actually have the app show where that outlet component is below the navigation. So both of these will show. And then the sign up and sign in page. I'll just write home on this app.js so it's not the sign up form here. So a quick little style here, center the text and make it white. And we'll just say homepage. With a little emoji. Okay, so we'll save that. Root layout here. And our index.js. Go ahead and start up our React app. And we have an error. It looks like I did not export the app. Save that. It's saying the router provider is not being used. But I feel like we're using it right here. Because it says route provider. I'd already imported it. Okay, so I'd misspelled it and then auto imported it. Here we go. So here's our home page and our navigation, and I can't spell. To our navigation, and here we go. Get rid of that. I feel like I'm nailing it here. Okay, there's our gorgeous logo on the home page. And we see we can quickly sign up and sign in. Looks like one of these has a space and the other does not. So I'll fix that real quick in a second. Another thing I want to show you is the catch-all route. So a 404 page. Go ahead and add this space real quick. So if we add another route and the path for that one, we just make an asterisk, do a catch-all wildcard here. Make an error page real quick. New file and pages. We'll do error.js. Do export default. And we will just return an H1. Give a quick little style there as well. Gotta use the emoji. Import error page. Guess I'll keep the same naming convention here. So if we save that, and these don't have to be in order, by the way, now it just matches the path if it does match. So if this home path was below sign up and sign in, and you're going to the home path, it's smart enough now to realize that you probably want that one. And so the order isn't necessary anymore, which is pretty awesome. Now if we go here and go to slash whatever, we see our 404 page. So last thing I want to do is show you the redirect functionality. So if a user signs up on the sign up page, we want to redirect them to the profile page. And we can do that pretty easily with React Router, which is pretty awesome. So we will create another page here called profile.js, and we'll make this very simple for now. We'll just greet the user. We can improve this in a future video. I give a little profile heading here. Center the text and make it white again. And we'll get to greeting the user here in a second. So I'll show you how we can do the redirect from the sign up page and also send over some arbitrary state that we can use in this profile page, which will be the username, which is very cool. So if we go to the sign up page, again, this is the form that we made in the previous video. We have Node Express backend where we can submit the user information and enter it into the database. And now we will also import this navigate function from React Router DOM. And then when they submit the form and it's successful, we want to set the user which we'll get some temporary state for that. We'll say user and set user. We'll say null by default. And then when they successfully sign up, we're already sending in the username in an object after we enter their username and password into the database. So we'll get that username. This is the response that we're getting back. And we can set the user to response.data.username. And now we'll use this navigate component from React Router DOM. And we will say if there is a user, we want to navigate, give this to attribute. We'll say to the profile page. You can pass in this replace attribute. We'll say true. And what that does, it replaces this page in the history stack. So if the user's on the home page and then they do the sign up form on the sign up page and we redirect them to the profile page, if they were to click back, it won't go back to the sign up page, it'll go back to the home page, which is awesome and useful. And you can also pass in some state, which we will do the user, which will be the username, and then we can use that in the profile page. So that's the navigate component if the user is true, and if not, we will just say null. And data is not defined. Oh, console.log here. So now in the profile page, we can import use location from React Router DOM. And that's how we'll access that state that we're passing in. Make a const of location. Say use location. Make a const of user, which is location.state, because that's the property we're getting. And now down here, We will also detect if there is a user, and if there is, we'll greet them. Style this text real quick. We'll just say hi and then the username with an exclamation point. And if there's not a user, we will render nothing. And we'll export default profile. Make sure that is a route here. So this path will be at /profile. And the component that will render is the profile page. So save that. Bunch of errors. I have to close this route. There you go. And now I will also have to start up the server. So this is our project. Change directory into the server project of our project, the Node Express app. Do node index.js. Server listening on port 8080. So we're on the home page. We go to sign up. And we see it takes us to the profile page and greets the user. And now if I click back, it won't go to the sign up page, it'll go to the home page. Very cool. So there are other cool things with the new React Router version 6, like actions and loaders, submitting form data to an action of a route, and loader functions that can be called when you load a page, which I may add on later, but for now I'm going to hook up a Redux toolkit and use the built-in async thunk function for doing asynchronous data fetching and updating the state accordingly, especially because I'll already be using Redux toolkit for the global state anyway. But again, the cool thing about React Router is that you can use more of it as you want. It definitely gets complex, and it's nice to be able to ease into it. It's not all or nothing. If or when I do update to more complex React Router functionality, I'll make a video just for that. In the next video, we'll get Redux Toolkit going. We'll create the async thunk for signing a user up, and then adding the user to our database and redirecting to the profile page, just like we did here, but we'll have the logic in another file with Redux Toolkit, and then we'll be able to use Redux Toolkit with other parts of our project. We'll let the user create posts, we'll let them like posts, be able to follow other users, all kinds of good stuff. So stay tuned. If you haven't already, make sure you like and subscribe, drop a comment and say what's up, and thank you very much for watching. I'll catch you in the next one.